This is Jamey with Stonemeyer Games, and I'm here today to talk about my favorite game mechanism and a game I kickstarted and recently played for the first time, Saloon Tycoon by Van Ryder Games. Now, the core mechanism of this game is that you are building you're building a saloon, and you're occupying it with different inhabitants. There are some ways to score points based on just objectives that you achieve. And this is the core mechanism, and my favorite mechanism. You're not just building out like most tile laying games, where you're building in 2D. In Saloon Tycoon, you're building up. How cool is that? You can see here that you're actually using these thick tiles and some cubes to build up. You're building your saloon up. And what I really think this does, it's a very simple mechanism. But what I think works so well about it is that it gives you a feeling of progress. I really, really like that feeling in games, when you feel like you're progressing, when you feel like you're either doing something better than you did at the beginning of the game, like with an engine building game, or that you have accomplished something that you are bigger and better than what you started out with. And this 3D element really brings that to life. Two of my favorite games of all time are tile laying games, or games where you're kind of building something. One is Castles of Mad King Ludwig, where you're building a castle in 2 dimensions, and one is Isle of Skye, where you're building kind of an island, the isle, also in 2 dimensions. They're wonderful games. They are my top 2 favorite games. But I love that Saloon Tycoon did something unique with that tile placement and let you elevate it and build up instead of just out. And I'd love to see this in other games as well, because I really think it just brings the saloon to life when you do this. You really have this sense of progress and accomplishment by looking at this 3D structure that you've built. So I'm kind of working on a game that does what I'm saying that I want this to do. It's a 3D game. I had the idea before I saw Saloon Tycoon, and I was a little worried that Saloon Tycoon had already taken that market of 3D buildings, but I don't think that's the case. I think that there is an ample space for games that not just work flat on the table, but are elevated above the table, and that you're building from the ground up. There are other games that do this, and so I'd love to hear your favorite game that kind of builds up like that in the comments. But I don't think there are many tile laying games that do that. And especially with Castles of Mad King Ludwig, which I absolutely love. And I love looking at the table when I'm done playing and feeling, hey, I just built this castle. Even then, it's a flat castle. It's not 3D, and it would be really spectacular if you could build a castle that really felt like this structure, this castle at the end of the game. And Saloon Tycoon does that with the saloon concept, which I really, really love. So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments of your favorite game that starts out flat with a foundation and actually builds up as well as out while you play. Thanks.